What if Japan invaded Mexico in 1941? Part 3. This video was supposed to release on the 81st anniversary of D-Day, but I am finishing the script on July 8th. It'll release sometime in July anyway. Anyway, let's get into the video click done. This is the third installation in the series. I'll give a quick rundown, but I highly suggest you watch part 1 and 2 to fully understand the events about to unfold. In 1941, Japan invaded Mexico instead of China, with America joining in and Mexico being split. Over the next decade, an unofficial alliance formed between the two nations, and the president elected in 1940 aided Japan in splitting the Pacific and later seized British and Danish Northern American colonies. Without American assistance, the North African campaign, in preparation for D-Day, was lengthened. This, combined with an absence of Lend-Lease and the Japanese invasion of Siberia, caused the USSR to become a German territory by 1945. In December of 1945 and January of 1946, German spies noticed operations increasing in northern Africa and the islands of Corsica, Sardinia, and Cyprus. Already having to retire the old misinformation via washed-up body strategy, the Allies placed inflatable bases near the Italian mainland, like they did during D-Day in our timeline. The Germans believed they were about to launch a massive invasion of Italy and moved many troops to Mussolini's Italy. As years of planning amount to a single moment, on January 6, 1946, hundreds of thousands of Allied soldiers landed on the beaches of southern France, Greece, and modern-day Croatia, with the nickname of Operation Reckoning. German forces in Italy quickly moved to combat these forces, but the German collaborator Vichy France falls by the next month, with Allied forces giving the people the power to overthrow their overlords. The spearhead heads towards Paris. A campaign of battles across Dalmatia and Greece fully separate the Axis from the Mediterranean and the Balkans by April. The first test of a nuclear bomb is dropped on the uninhabited Arctic island of Jan Mayen by the British. Paris is captured by July, with France's borders being fully restored by August. British troops are now able to access the English Channel and to send troops in higher volumes and in a faster period of time. Troops moved further into Yugoslavia, and the Battle of Belgrade, despite being costly, was a huge Allied success, with the city being captured and the nation liberated by October. After this initial charge, Allied forces are focused on re-establishing European governments and strengthening them. They invade Austria, Bulgaria, and Benelux, and continue the Italian campaign as Hitler's faith in victory falters. By April 1947, Austria and Benelux have been captured. During the same month, the largest aerial raid in history is launched from Allied Austria and France, consisting of thousands of planes with the targets of Munich, Hamburg, Cologne, Dresden, and Berlin. The attack catches the Luftwaffe off guard, leaving them unorganized and without much command. As the majority of Allied planes depart the city's airspaces, the Luftwaffe note that 5 planes in particular, one for each city, are being accompanied by heavy guard. Once Hitler receives this message, he instantly orders the planes to be targeted and is thrown into a panic state. 5 20-kiloton bombs are dropped on each of the 5 German cities. The epicenter of the Berlin blast is the Führer bunker, and Hitler is killed instantly. Before he dies, he revokes Hermann Göring's status as the next in line and blames the supreme commander of the Luftwaffe for failing to prevent the nuclear strikes. Tension between the two had already grown after many of Göring's defeats, and this was the last straw for an angry man at his deathbed. He instead instills Heinrich Himmler as Reich Chancellor of Germany. The transfer of power is anything but smooth, and there are even some, if minor, military attempts to seize power. After receiving a big fat no from Himmler on a proposed surrender, Allied forces invade Germany from the west and south a few days following the strikes. Czechoslovakia, Hungary, Hamburg, and Munich fall in May, as troops in Germany move westwards. By June, the Bulgarian Axis government surrenders as Allied forces overtake the government headquarters in Sofia. By the month's end, Berlin is captured and all pre-war territories of Germany except East Prussia are seized. Himmler flees eastwards as more and more land is liberated. An offensive towards Bucharest captures the city, and Romania surrenders too. Troops radiate towards Krakow and Warsaw, seizing the two cities and joining the rest of the ever-advancing wave. In Italy, anti-fascist partisans are on the verge of seizing Milan, and revolts occur in other northern cities. With troops entering from the west, east, and south, Mussolini is running low on options. In our timeline, he had three choices. surrender to the Allies, escape to Switzerland, or to make a last stand. He chose Switzerland and was lucky enough to be picked up by a German convoy heading back home, except until he's discovered by the partisans and executed. But here, Mussolini decides to make a final stand. Mussolini would rather die for his country in a dramatic summary to his life story that would befit a Roman Empire as he claimed to be rather than to flee. He sees it as a way to ensure himself as a martyr for future fascists, even if he dies in the process. So, he takes several thousand followers from Milan the day before it is captured and travels to Valtellini, a valley in the Alps, specifically to a small town defended by World War I fortifications. With with the size of Mussolini's brigade, word soon reaches the partisans and they surround the town until enough soldiers arrive for an attack. The town is battered by artillery fire, and Mussolini is killed by shrapnel. Remaining forces surrender, and only hours after the battle's end, the Italian Social Republic surrenders. Mussolini's head is paraded around Italy on a stick. A southern and northern offensive reached Russia, the former capturing Kharkiv during September and the latter reaching Moscow in early October. With support from Soviet guerrillas fighting in the Urals and an Allied onslaught, Moscow falls within the month. Himmler commits suicide, and there's only small remaining pockets of German resistance within Russia left. On November 1st, 1947, the remaining German government surrenders to the Allies, marking the end of World War II. Europe has been completely devastated by the war. In our timeline, a conservative 70 million died in World War II. With a longer war in this timeline, 85 million died. Consider that the 20 million who died in the Japanese invasion of China don't hear. Most of the extra deaths are Soviets. 55 million Soviets die, or one-third of the pre-war population. 15 million of those are Slavs murdered in the Holocaust. The rate of the genocide only increased until 1945 in our timeline, and it keeps doing so until 1947 here. Across Europe, 9 million Jews are murdered. 24 million die in the Holocaust. The rates of death increase all over Europe, with 650,000 British, 690,000 Italians, 715,000 French, and 8 million Germans. Less than 100,000 total die from the conquest of America and Japan. After the war's end, Allied forces instantly shift to rebuilding Europe, with the first act being a defined peace treaty. Denmark reluctantly cedes American-occupied Greenland and Iceland upon their re-establishment as a nation. Poland's borders are restored, with the additional German territories of East Prussia, Pomerania, and Silesia being given to them. Germany is temporarily split into a British-occupied north and French-occupied south, as a process of denazification is overlooked carefully. Finland's territories lost during the Winter War are restored, but their claims over the USSR post-Barbarossa are denied. The Soviet Union is dissolved, with Russia, Belarus, Ukraine, Georgia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan becoming independent nations. However, Belarus and Ukraine are smaller, as Poland's pre-war borders in the east are maintained. With the independent India becoming communist, the Allies fear that Russia will become an ally of India by succession Japan and the United States. With the division of the USSR, democratic governments are installed under careful watch by the rest of Europe. However, Yugoslavia under Tito remains communist, and the Allies do not try to intervene, already exhausted by World War II, now wanting to ignite the Balkans too. The United Nations is created, but is more of a Eurocentric sphere of influence, even more than in our time. The 5 permanent UN members are Britain, France, Poland, Russia, and Pakistan. Seeing a mutual goal in an alliance against India, Pakistan is granted elevated significance on the world stage. Spain, India, China, Japan, and America do not join, though most of the rest of the world does. The Economic and Military European Union, or the EMU, is established, EMU, with most of Europe joining except Sweden, Finland, Yugoslavia, Spain, Portugal, Ireland, and of course, Switzerland. World War II has ended, but the scars it's left are permanent. Germany was not able to succeed victory as it had no influence over the world. From the first day of a peaceful Europe in a decade, the world is already being divided into 2 spheres of influence, the European bloc and the nationalist bloc. Spies are deployed across the world, and secret programs are established to one-up each other.
Begun. The
Cold War, and it may prove to be much more hot in this world, where one spark can prove to ignite a raging inferno. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed the video and wanted to see more in the future. Sorry if the sound quality was bad. I had a sore voice while recording, and it only got worse as I talked more. I'm probably going to continue the series later, but right now I feel like making solo videos. Any suggestions? Leave them in the comments. This video was supposed to release on the 81st anniversary of D-Day.